My name is Ryan Williams. I'm a full-time guide and fly tyer, and today I'm showing you one of my go-to topwater streamers. It's a streamer that's made just to be pulled maybe about a foot underneath the surface with a floating line. Sometimes, I don't know, it might go 6 inches a foot under the surface. You could use it on a sinking line as well. It's just got a nice kind of a neutral buoyancy, so it doesn't sink down, doesn't float back up. Real general kind of streamer here. And the weed guards makes so you can fish it in all different kinds of scenarios around logs and cast it into trees. You can't snag it if you try to snag it if you're casting into trees. It's pretty much just a deceiver, really, just a deceiver with synthetic materials on top. Okay, so we're starting this out. Got the Danville 210 white thread. I'm just going to start this out by adding a tail, or flash tail, I mean. And I always go a hefty amount of flash on here. So we're going the olive flash boot and then some lateral scale pearl. And always go a hefty amount of flash on the tail. It's better to go too much flash than too little. This is definitely a little bit excessive, actually. Take a little off. That's good enough. Alright, that's all cinched down good. I'm going to put a little base layer thread on there. I'm going to cut it. Okay, so now we're going to add a little foam head on here, or a foam collar, I should say. It just kind of builds up the profile of the head, and makes the fly look more realistic, and it keeps it, I guess, a little more buoyant in the water. This fly, it's not one you're really wanting to sink down too much. This is more a topwater fly to be pulled a foot underneath the surface and stuff like that. And this foam is 6 millimeter white foam. And I'm just cinching it down like crazy here. And we're going to do the same thing again. I'm going to build that head up just a tad bit more. With a little bit smaller piece of foam on there. I'm going to keep it back a little ways from the eye of the hook to get a little taper going. About like so. And really just the purpose of this is just building up a collar, so it changes the profile of the fly when you're tying on top of something like this. Okay. Now we're going a little base layer of bucktail, just white bucktail. With this particular fly, it's the Bucktail on the bottom, and then synthetics on top above the Bucktail. A lot of people ask me why I don't just use pure synthetics, and why I put this Bucktail in. I think the Bucktail gives a nice little base color. It makes it so the fly isn't quite so translucent in the water. Makes the colors pop a little more. And certain colors with the synthetics are more see-through than others. So having a little base layer of the natural material, I think, gives it a nice little look, makes the profile look good. So I just tied that in, I spread it halfway around the hook. White on bottom. Now we're adding, this is SF blend, UV white or UV off-white. Looks about right. Now, with this stuff, it comes with a natural taper already in there. But let's say you cut it here and you're using more where it doesn't actually have that tapered little bit. We'll just cut this and pretend like that's the product we got. That is where I'll come in with these tapering scissors, and I'll do three cuts. 3 cuts towards the back of the material. 1, 2, 3. Kind of get that excess out there. And then I'm just going to move it around a little bit, kind of shake it up so there's no distinct lines left in that. And there you go. That's how you get that nice natural taper, which is extremely important for the fly. That's how you get that from just a straight cut line. And go nice and long here. The Bucktail is always going to be a lot shorter than the synthetics, the Farrar that you're putting on there. And I'm extending that Farrar out just a little bit before the flash tail is the length I want it to go. Then I go 3 loose wraps, and then I'm spreading it. Give it a good cinch down there. Okay, bottom's done. Now we're just going to do the same process on top with the olive color. And we're just going a small amount of Bucktail, not much, just enough to kind of beef it up a little bit and give that fly a good base color, small base color. It's the same deal. 3 loose wraps and spread it around. That should be good there. Now, repeating the process with olive. This is Flash and Slinky I use on top. Olive, Flash and Slinky. Seems like a correct amount here. Same deal, we're gonna taper this stuff. 3 snips. And we're tying that in the same length as the white, maybe even just a tiny bit more. 3 loose wraps, same deal, spread it. Cinch that down. And you notice when I'm cinching this down, I have a pretty long, like a 1/4 inch minimum of that tied in. If you just do it a little bit, this material is going to end up pulling out. So you got to make sure you got a good amount of surface area of thread on top there. And don't be afraid about this getting really bulky, the head getting real bulky. That's the goal on this fly. We want a nice big head on the fly because the baitfish have big heads, or heads bigger than the diameter of a hook shank. And it doesn't have to be too clean because we're going to be gluing over all this stuff anyways. And kind of comb upwards and straighten everything out and give that fly a little comb here. Bush it out. And this is good to have on the water too, to keep combing those puppies out. The flies do need to be combed quite a bit. Alright, now we're just adding in the weed guards. This is a product that they don't sell in fly shops. It's a conventional product. The company is called Do It. They make jig building products, and this is just the Do It wire weed guard. 2 of these on here. I'm just tying it on the side so you guys can see there. I'll add a couple more twists. Just cinching these down. You always want to make sure you're doing plenty of wraps over these because these weed guards can pop loose eventually. So you want to make sure they're nice and tight on there with a whole bunch of thread twists on top of them. Kind of go overkill on securing them. That part is done. All right, now giving you Loon viewers the secret, the big secret here on how to color this. Everybody always asks how I color these, and they're way overthinking it. It's just a simple marker. That's why I use the white thread. And then when you do the UV glue on top of that, it looks really nice. And these are the Copic markers. Really like them because you can buy the little canister that you can spray them on if you're doing popper heads or whatever. So yes, the Copic marker, and this is Spanish olive. Okay, so the fly's pretty much done. Now we're just going to glue the eyes on there. We're going to tack the eyes on first, and then doing a final layer of the UV glue on top of it all. And this is the Loon UV Thick that I'm using for this particular fly here. And for the eyes, we're using the Flyman 6mm fish skull in the wind color. I'm just gonna eyeball these and make sure they're nice and straight. Looks like they're good. Tack it with the light real quick. Now we're just doing a final layer that's UV thick over everything. Kind of going a big heaping amount. You want to cover the eyes and the whole shebang. Getting behind the eyes here too, getting absolutely everything. Yeah, it's a nice fly because it doesn't have to be tied all pretty and perfect on the head because you're just gluing right over all this. And especially when you color the top of the fly, it makes it look really nice no matter how messed up the tie looks before the glue. Once that glue's on there, it looks nice and pretty. Making sure I'm covering the actual eyes there as well. And there you go.